Well, after Carl Froch and George Groves lit up Wembley Stadium in May, we wondered if boxing could get any better. The good news is that it's been an amazing second half of the year. And, Johnny, we're all set for a fabulous 2015.
We certainly are, after a string of great shows and nights through the summer, autumn and winter here on Sky. Let's get on with this Christmas review.
Good idea.
Woohoo!
Ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world,
this is the main event of the evening. Here we go! Are you ready?
Yes, it's finally time to find out.
Never had a dream come true.
and the new, it's Cobra!
I'm the champ of the world.
And the news!
I know that Stuardo's watching. Hey, listen, you're getting it next, boy. Queen Kong's getting it.
And we're free as the wind. And true love is no sin.
The Swaggerman is back.
Therefore men are men.
You're one of my favorite fighters, man. Come on, man.
You're my favorite fighter now.
Thank you.
Just win this title. Just win this fight. We don't repeat mistakes.
You stopped me twice, Carl. But I still think I can beat you.
Keep dreaming. 2-0.
Don't worry about Ugly Kid. Don't worry about him. Give up the title or fight me.
The whole want to see me and you put performance on. That's what we'll do, mate. That's what we'll do.
Still champion!
This is nothing short of a downright disgrace.
Oh, there's little ball as well.
How can you not smile with that?
He's blasted him out, and he just went big time.
With this city behind him, he can go all the way. I mean, they're mental. Absolutely mental.
We said we needed a bit of razzle-dazzle. We got it.
Thank you very much for my fans, for my friends. Thank you, guys. I love you.
Hello there and welcome to this ringside review of the season so far.
Yes, our traditional Christmas update before we head off, recharge our batteries and stuff ourselves with turkey.
Ed's with us, as always, and no Christmas review could be complete without these two.
You're a hat.
You told me everybody was wearing these.
Well, they was. Carry on. I think you look the part.
Thank you.
Glenn McCrory and Spencer Oliver dressed for the occasion, who, of course, have witnessed so much of the exciting action. Johnny and I were ringside in Vegas as Amir Khan's terrific masterclass completed our live coverage of 2014 in some style. It seems a while since his arch-rival sizzled in the Californian heat, doesn't it?
Yes, Kell Brook had a huge job to dethrone Sean Porter, but nothing's ever simple in boxing, as Ed reminds us.
The traditional summer break was anything but peaceful, with boxing in the headlines for good and bad reasons. Kell Brook winning a world title against the odds and away from home was a highlight, as he defused and dethroned the previously unbeaten Sean Porter in California.
I was born to do this. You're going to see me in some mega fights. I'm the world champion now. Everyone will want to fight me.
But just 3 weeks later came the shocking news that Brook had been attacked with a machete while on holiday. Thankfully, he's made a full recovery.
I'm back training and I'm looking forward to getting back in the ring.
The Marbella shooting of the popular Jamie Moore in an apparent case of mistaken identity also shook the sport.
And my first instinct was, I just looked and I went, and carried on walking. And I turned around and said, you know, it's not even funny this. And as I said it, he shot me in the hip.
September saw the return of the pound-for-pound king, Floyd Mayweather, who clearly outscored Marcus Maidana in their Vegas rematch. It also gave us a chance to compare our super bantamweight stars, with Carl the Jackal Frampton crowned on a historic night in Belfast.
The only man I want to fight is Scott Quigg. Quigg's a man, but what Eddie Hearn needs to remember is I'm the one with a legitimate belt.
A week later, Scott Quigg impressively demolished late sub Stephen Jamoye in Manchester.
Got it. Bang. Body shot.
If he wants to sit down in a room, Carl, Barry, me, Ed, that fight can be made.
And another week later, Kid Galahad continued his unbeaten run against Alessandro Santos, on his way to being crowned the Boxing Writers' Young Boxer of the Year. That same night, George Groves returned to Wembley for his first fight since losing the rematch with Carl Froch and ground out a European title victory against tough Christopher Abras. The month finished with controversy. Paul Smith's close, heroic defeat against Arthur Abraham in Germany, judged harshly on the cards.
The main thing I hate about boxing, I hate it. That's 2 times now, I believe I've been on the end of a bad decision. It just shattered me world, eh?
October saw bright young thing Josh Warrington pick up yet another title at home in Leeds. The EBU belt the prize against David Dielli.
This is vicious from Warrington. He's blasted him out, and he just went big time.
What am I doing getting a knockout? I'm feather fisted.
Also at featherweight, domestic #1 Lee Selby booked a world title shot by dismantling Australian import Joel Brunker at the O2, on a bill topped by Anthony Joshua's return to the capital, as the heavyweight showed his vicious streak to blitz Denis Baktov. That was one of 3 stoppages for Joshua this side of the summer. Smiling destroyer Gennady Golovkin continued his middleweight reign of terror, registering his 18th straight stoppage by blowing away Marco Antonio Rubio in 2 rounds. Also on that bill in Carson, a star was born as another faded. Nicholas the Axeman Walters stopping Nonito Donaire in 6.
And once again he's down, right on the bell. He's done. The Axeman, the big puncher, does it again.
A dramatic night in Hull saw Tommy Coyle wipe out the veteran former Brit Batcher Michael Katsidis. Olympic hero Luke Campbell also did his bit to set up a local derby for 2015, outclassing Daniel Brizuela.
Tagged with another left hand and stopped.
Listen, you know, Luke's a pal of mine and it'll be weird, but we can put our friendship aside for 36 minutes and go at it like 2 warriors.
November saw some great action overseas. In Germany, Felix Sturm and Robert Stieglitz battled to a draw. Sergei the Crusher Kovalev had too much youth and power for the remarkable 49-year-old Bernard Hopkins on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. One man who is boxing better than ever at an advanced age is the 38-year-old Vladimir Klitschko, still champion after a left-hooking masterclass against the highly regarded Kubrat Pulev. Conversely, perennial middleweight contender Matthew Macklin might be facing retirement at just 32, manhandled by the lively Jorge Sebastian Hyland in Dublin.
Wiped out, single punch, no count.
That same promotion saw Gary Spike O'Sullivan settle the score with fellow Irishman Anthony Fitzgerald in some style.
Right hand, flattened Fitzgerald.
Another intense build-up failed to produce the expected fireworks, as Tony Bellew outworked Nathan Cleverly in their Liverpool rematch at cruiserweight. Former rivals George Groves and James DeGale both recorded stoppages as rivalries continued to simmer.
I'd fight James any day of the week. It's unfinished business, it's bad blood, it's everything.
Callum Smith could also soon be in the mix, staying unbeaten, while WBA belt holders Scott Quigg and Jamie McDonnell both retain their titles. In the new hotbed of Macau, Manny Pacquiao proved he's still a formidable force, all but halting Chris Algieri at catchweight. Frank Warren put together an all-star show at the XL. Bad blood saw Tyson Fury book a shot at Vladimir with a dominant performance against the outclassed Derek Chisora. Frankie Gavin snapped the undefeated record of Bradley Skeet in a close one, and Liam Walsh beat Gary Sykes in a good clash. But the hype was focused on the intriguing battle between Billy Joe Saunders and bitter enemy Chris Eubank Jr. On the night, Saunders boxed beautifully early, but Eubank clawed his way back into it, Saunders eventually taking the points win. And the year has finished on a high for British and Irish boxing. Amir Khan and Andy Lee both rolled the dice in Las Vegas and left Nevada as winners. On a bumper bill at the MGM Grand, Khan outclassed former 2-weight world champion Devin Alexander to move closer to a fight with Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao or Kell Brook. While across town, Lee halted the previously undefeated Matt Korobov in dramatic fashion to be crowned the WBO World Middleweight Champion in some style.
And I'd like to say thank you to this man, Adam Booth, my coach and my manager, has done so much for me over the last couple of years. This title's for him, but it's also for the man who made me, Emmanuel Stewart.
So many memories in just a matter of weeks, but I suppose what stands out is your stablemate, Kell Brooks' win over in America. Fabulous, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had a bit of a roller coaster, eventually getting the crack for the world title, actually getting in the ring. It was great news for him, for the gym's history, and hopefully onwards and upwards for him. But you know what? We all know 3 weeks later there was a bit of bad luck for him, Ed.
Yeah, and we've seen some sad news, haven't we? Glyn Leach passing away, the long-time editor of Boxing Monthly. That was tragic news over the summer. Jerome Wilson, a friend of yours, taken badly injured after a fight. You know, I'm sure Spencer knows exactly how tough that is.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to Jerome Wilson a few weeks after the accident that he had, and doing remarkably well. If I'm honest, surprised me how well he actually was. You know, still looking at a future in boxing as a trainer. So, you know, it's really nice to hear, you know, that it wasn't all real bad news for Jerome.
It's been tough with Jamie Moore being shot and then Anthony Croller as well ending up in hospital.
Yeah, that's right. There's been, you know, some great stuff inside the ring, but outside of the ring, there's been some very bad news with Kell Brook, Jamie Moore, and then Anthony Croller getting hit and badly injured, and obviously his world titles been taken away from him. So that's you know, that's bad when that happens, isn't it? It's been a tough year.
Tough year as well for Lee Noble. He's been struck down with leukemia as well, not forgetting that. So it has been tough for a lot of fighters.
Lee Noble's terrible to hear the news about him struggling with cancer, and Asif Ali's son Zach as well. But as always, boxing rallies round for the cause.
Yeah. We saw some really great performances at the MGM. Amir Khan defused the stylish two-weight world champion, Devon Alexander, and many people believe it was right up there as one of his great nights, because Alexander, top quality
performer. He put himself in the sort of mega fight bracket, didn't he? With the big names of Pacquiao and Mayweather, fights that could be out there for Amir. It was a punch perfect display. You know, he was good balance and the temperament. Finally, he's mastered that, hasn't he? So looking better than ever.
What was potentially a really tough fight for him, he made look so easy, and I think he has put himself up there in that bracket with the Pacquiaos and with the Mayweathers, and I think he's got the style to cause Mayweather all sorts of problems.
Another good story across the strip. Andy Lee lifted the world title. He did it for the Irish boys.
Super middleweights have continued to entertain us, and of course still firing those arrows at each other.
It's good to get another stoppage. It's good to be back knocking people out, and now it's just, you know, roll on for the big one for me, WBC World Title Challenge, and I can't wait.
I don't think he's jaded. I don't think he's overtrained. I think he's been cobra'd. I think the same thing's happened to him what happened to Luchan Butek.
Cobra'd?
He's been cobra'd. Have you not heard that one before?
Don't worry about Ugly Kid. Don't worry about him. I am mandatory challenger for the IBF World Title. I like Carl Froch. It's hard for me to, like, disrespect him, but it feels to me he don't want to fight me. So, listen, it's either give up the title or fight me. It's simple. I can't disrespect a man that's achieved so much, but he's being a bit of a coward.
Let the Gale and Groves fight each other, and maybe I'll fight the winner. Just maybe. I'm not promising anything. But there's one for you. Let them two fight it out. I'll take the winner on. But looking at that, it's a mismatch. And I think the two guys here will agree with me. The Gale beats Groves every day of the week.
You have to split them up, don't you, when you're near them?
It was like a love triangle. It was just heavy. Well, Groves came back after the defeat to Carl Froch. James DeGale came back on the scene, you know, making people think, wow, what's happened there? Both fighters, as well as Carl, have improved massively.
Yeah, they have done. They have done. For me, James DeGale's been the most improved of the two in recent performances. I think James DeGale's looks exceptional, and a fight with him and Carl Froch is what the British public really want to see. That would be great if we could see that. Whether it'll happen or not is another matter.
Throw Callum Smith into the mix as well, Ed. He's done really well.
Yeah, I think George Groves struggled a little bit in his last couple of fights, because maybe he was at a point to prove after the two losses to Carl Froch. He was just trying a bit too hard. Needs to get back to what made him a good fighter in the first place. James DeGale had some injuries. He had something similar to a hernia, and now that's gone. He's got his movement back. He's not sitting on the ropes. He looks great. And Callum Smith, it looks a real one for 2015. He's definitely in the mix.
Carl's sitting pretty.
He certainly is, and you know, we're looking for him to hopefully get the fight that he wants with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in Vegas, just to round off what's been a terrific career. But there's good fights out there, isn't there? I mean, the Gale Groves for me is, we want to see that one again, don't we?
Yeah, I think that's a fight that is the fight that we could possibly see next. I think DeGale Groves makes sense, for those two to fight.
There's that real hatred, isn't there?
And it is genuine.
Yeah.
Adam, I've known them right back from the amateur days. I've known both guys for a long time, and it is genuine hatred. So,
we saw what happened behind the scenes at the weigh-in when these guys were fighting. So it runs deep.
And the tension on set always, isn't it?
Very, very deep, and it'd be great to see them both in the ring again, wouldn't it?
In part 2, we look back at the standout moments, multitude of guests, tactical breakdowns, new features, and the lively debate here on the Ringside set. Plus, when we take our show out on the road too.
We had our own jet each, and no word of a lie, this sums Floyd Mayweather up off to a T. I think we're flying from Los Angeles or New York to Los Angeles or somewhere in Vegas or somewhere like that. And we're on the plane there going then, and the pilot goes, "Ricky, come here. So, what's up?" He went, "Have you heard this idiot?" And he put the speaker on, and Floyd's going, go on, man, I'll give you whatever money you want to overtake him." So Floyd, he's in the jet there, and I'm in the jet there, and he must be saying, "Come on, man, overtake him." The pilot's going, I can't, right? But he literally wanted to overtake me. I got the fingers on Floyd, I'm going to get there first. He's going overtake me, so...
Don't miss the latest legend to drop into Sky and open up about his career. We begin 2015 with a Ricky Hatton special as the Hitman talks candidly about his fantastic fighting career. Don't miss it. Thursday, January the 8th, 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 2. What a journey and what a fascinating show.
You know what, there was that much packed into it, I actually forgot about that story, but everybody was in fits of laughter. It was funny.
Glenn, Spencer and Ed are with us to reflect on the season to date with all three and the two of us. Massive Hatton fans, aren't we?
Yeah, he's just boy next door, wasn't he? I remember on the day of a fight, you don't really want to bother a fighter, but we wanted to do some filming, just send him a text. He says, yeah, come round. And just driving into that little estate of his, just as he was driving out, you think, oh no, he's going to have to do something. He winds his window down, throws us the house key, says he's just off to the sweet shop. Do we want anything? Tells us to let ourselves in and put a brew on. He'll be back in a few minutes. He comes back in wearing his slippers, just so relaxed. And then in the dressing room, he just went cold-eyed. He was all joking, and then suddenly the shark eyes came out and destructive force.
Spencer, you're always good to work alongside Ricky. I think probably the most accessible fighter, or certainly top-level fighter we've ever had.
Absolutely, he was so accessible. You know, I worked most of Ricky's fights, really, and we had some great times up in Manchester. Most memorable time for me was when he boxed Costa. The atmosphere was just legendary. I remember picking Frank Bruno up on the way to the venue, which was really surreal as well. We was having a right crack going up there, and it was just like the atmosphere, the performance that Ricky gave. I think that was, for me, the most memorable night, but what a great guy.
Glenn, were you surprised at how easily he could switch from being the lad we all think we know to being the machine he was when he got in the ring to fight?
I think that's the thing that fighters have to do, but they've got to sort of change. Most of the fighters are good guys and like a laugh and all the rest of it, and then they get in and are very, very serious, but none more so than Ricky, because he's the guy that's down the pub playing darts, and he's so accessible. And I've got we were around his whole career and so many great memories. But going back to his house when he was living at home, and he's taking me around his bedroom to show me his trophies, and then later on to become the superstar and the champion. But he's never changed from that youngster who started off at 17. He's just exactly the same.
I don't think we'll get another one. Now, time to remind everyone what's been happening throughout Ringside. We've had a packed 5 months, haven't we?
We certainly have. Our fresh, new-look, interactive, independent shows have taken us far.
I want to be that person that when everybody say, Evander Holyfield, somebody say, yeah, he was a good guy. Oh, he was a nice guy, but fighting, he fought. He gave you what you paid for. I want to be the person who they say, you know what, he's a real deal.
After some very low points in my life, which wasn't anything to do with boxing, I decided, after consulting with my family, I had to go down the path that would make me happy and make me feel a true person and a real person again.
British boxing's flying high. Stand by for one of the biggest nights of 2014. There, in the Echo Arena.
I'm not going anywhere.
Let's go.
Listen, mate. Write your number.
Come on. The MGM Metropolis, which has housed the names of Tyson, De La Hoya, Mayweather, Hatton, and now Amir Khan has got his big chance.
The Brits are rolling into town.
Alexander's very skillful. I really think I'm a little bit more skillful. Hand speed, he's very quick himself as well. So it's all about just being smart in there, picking the right shots at the right time. I have a little bit more power, I believe, going into this fight, and better movement. But you know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough task. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, after this fight," but I'm not looking past this fight because for me, this is a massive fight.
Do you not rate his technique, Khans?
It's okay. I mean, he wouldn't be in this position if he's not good. But I just see, in my opinion, that I got speed. What does he have that I don't have?
When you have a high defence,
he's walking down.
If I leave my jab there, you're going to bring your arms in. That's as soon as them arms come in, there's open straight away, and that was the plan. Leave it there, but come round, get back out, or throw it there and come round, or double up. And when I was doubling up, I was having a bit of success as well.
Golovkin doesn't want to be too close. He doesn't want to smother his work. Golovkin's best work is here. He throws that right hook around the side. Yeah. His left hook, he doesn't throw it how, you know, conventionally. He kind of throws it like this.
Yeah. But that should be almost an arm punch,
and even
really,
his body shot, he throws it like that, you know, but he really turns the knuckles in. It's funny, it's awkward almost how he does it. It looks unorthodox. It's kind of a real Eastern European, well, more like, you know, Russian, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, they kind of loop, really, they call it loopy, scoopy kind of style, and that's what he has.
Never defeated a champion. Never. Never defeated the champion.
I defeated you.
I wasn't a champion. I was a 16-fight novice. It wasn't hard to beat me. Oval McKenzie nearly beat me.
That's all that matters.
Oval McKenzie nearly beat me 2 fights before me. Oval McKenzie had me on the floor before you did.
I can live happily ever after. That's all that matters.
I'm sure you can. You're going to live happily ever after on November the 22nd when I've smashed you from pillar to post.
I've challenged for world titles unsuccessfully, but they were entertaining fights. My profile's obviously risen.
You wound Carl up as well, so that was part of the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, let's not forget this guy has boxed for the world title twice and been knocked out twice as well. And the second time he got stopped, got knocked out, was a bad knockout, Adam. It was a very bad knockout. And them kind of knockouts damage people's careers. But he's still calling out Carl Froch. It's unbelievable. Remember, he used to call me deluded. Do you remember that? Remember that? Okay.
Yes. Now this is what I'm talking about.
As paratroopers, this is what we do as part of good performance. Put down the log, turn around, forward.
I think I look all right now. I'm all in the army gear, I'm looking nice. Look to my right now, I see Jim with his big helmet. Yeah, he's got his night tracks on with the man gun thing trapped to his leg, and he just looks mad. He just looks mad. The guy makes you laugh.
Target's up.
No.
Yep.
Rah.
I'm back. I'm back.
You know, when I first came here, I found this location. I had one room up here, and I had enough money to just build a boxing gym. And the ring I couldn't afford to buy, so I had to build it by hand. So I built it by myself, and it cost me about $10,000 to build the whole gym, and I've been going ever since.
Release that pressure.
Are you okay?
Well, yeah, big time, man. I'm starting to sweat now.
I'm gonna go for a vertical, okay? Okay. Now you see we are totally vertical.
No. Oh my God.
I'm going down.
that bit at the end where we was going vertical, yeah, that was all me, that bit there.
I like being who I am, smiled all the time, have beautiful people around me all the time. I have a great family, have great kids, man, and that's rich, that's living, that's life, and that's what I have. So no matter what people think about me or what they may say about me, I want them to know that Deontay Wilder is happy with life each and every day. Even through my worst times, I'm happy.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time, and we're looking forward to watching the journey.
Definitely. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Bomb Squad!
Amazing character, and I wonder if he will be crowned heavyweight champion of the world in January.
I hope he does, because he's colourful, he might be bonkers, but you know what? He can fight and he can back it up, and that's what gets me. What got my attention was, you know, ringside was, I think it was the rivalries. The girl grills.
Yeah.
You know, when we had them here on set, they actually shook hands once the cameras went off, and I thought, I can't believe what I'm saying.
They didn't want to do that.
I don't think anybody could believe what they were seeing, if I'm totally honest, because that rivalry is genuine, and I think that was the excitement for me on the ringside set, was seeing those two shake hands. I think that was one that I remember sitting in the studio, Adam, we was working that day, and me and Adam looking at each other in disbelief, and I don't think they'll ever shake hands
again. It was all the stuff that happened behind the scenes as well.
Absolutely.
And Bellew Cleverly.
I was just going to say, Tony Bellew and Nathan Cleverly, getting them together, because I mean, it's great that you do get that sort of rivalry and you put fighters, and they do have to sort of behave, but every now and again you think it's just got to cross the lane a little bit, you know, it's getting, and that was one of those occasions.
Ed, an old friend of mine, you broke the news about Naz.
Prince Nassim Hamed. Well, it was there on the internet, but while we were on air, so we talked about it, and long overdue, because he's been overlooked for so many years. I don't know why exactly, but I think his accomplishments merit him being in there. And talking about the rivalries don't necessarily guarantee a great fight. We saw with, say, Anthony Crolla and John Murray, who are really friendly with each other, put on a great fight, and then with Bellew and Cleverly, despite all the pre-fight talk, it didn't really catch light the way we wanted it to. But it's such compelling viewing, and just seeing George Groves just staring at James DeGale like that.
What about the tactics in the ring? Obviously, you and Johnny are highlight, being Bellew and Cleverly, and finally getting up close.
It's always good to see. It's always good. You know, I like to see how fighters, you know, how other fighters, how they see tactics and how they see, how they rate other fighters. And you know, hearing Paul Smith, you know, who's very knowledgeable, talking about, you know, different fighters and what they're going to do is an education. You know, it's really good.
Do you think we kind of got the tactics right on Bellew Cleverly? I was holding you like...
I think we did, didn't we? He was spot on.
I think one thing that's quite interesting is some fighters don't even know why they do things. They're almost instinctive. You know, maybe David Beckham wouldn't know exactly mathematically how he calculates to put a goal in, and they just do it instinctively, whereas others are really analytical. Matthew Macklin, a week after losing a really dramatic fight, coming in here, being so painfully honest about the defeat, about his future, but also then breaking down other fights for us, was a highlight for me.
It's nice to see, though, isn't it, when the fighters are so humble and so truthful about, you know, and being so gracious in defeat. I mean, I think that adds a real nice touch.
And you've enjoyed a workout or two in that ring, haven't you? Puffing and panting away.
Half a workout, if I'm totally honest. We was doing a tactics piece, wasn't we, me and Johnny? And I remember getting halfway through it and just sort of running out of steam and having to cut it short. And it was like, yeah, we got to double up. And that was...
So, you'd obviously rehearsed it a few times.
Well, obviously, not as fit as I thought I was.
Well, we throw forward after the break as we look ahead to the big fights and nights which lie in store for the new year. And we ask our three wise men here to look into their crystal ball and predict the enticing boxing future, which seems very, very bright.
Take a little walk to the edge of town and go across the track. On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand. You'll see him in your nightmares, you'll see him in your dreams. Oh, that right hand uppercut! Bang! You'll see him in your head on a TV screen. Hey, buddy, I'm warning you to turn it off. He's a ghost, he's a god, he's a man, he's a guru. You're one microscopic cog in his catastrophic plan, designed and directed by his red right hand. One big right hand, good night.
Anthony Joshua returns to the ring on January the 31st in his toughest test to date against the American Kevin Johnson. It's a packed bill at the O2, 8 o'clock Sky Sports 1, the 31st of January date for your diaries. And guys, some way to get 2015 up and running.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Anthony Joshua, as you know, I've been with right from the beginning, and I'm expecting a massive 2015 for him. Kevin Johnson, we know, it's been the distance with everybody, including Klitschko, and I think that Joshua's going to get the job done inside the distance.
Glenn, we've seen his development, you know, come to fruition time and time and time again. Can you see him developing even more this year?
I do. I think, as Spencer says, 2015 is going to be the year which I think will probably put him on the verge of World Championship.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he's going to make that sort of movement because they can't really hold him back. You know, he's so good, he's so big, he's so fast, hits so hard. How are you gonna hold him back?
So who do they match him with beyond Kevin Johnson?
I would like to see him fight David Price. That would be the fight I'd want to see, because that will answer a few questions that the fighters that so far he's been in with haven't asked me.
When ideally,
because he's got the height.
Price. What sort of month for Price do you think?
I would like, before the summer. I think Price will want it. Price will want that fight, and he'll want that fight as quick as he can, because he knows that Anthony's just going to get better. So it's the right time. But that's the sort of hurdle, because we want to see him in with somebody who's bigger, who hits as hard, who's quick. Then we'll answer some questions, because Price will get to that chin.
And it's a good way to assess his development, because Price and Joshua have sparred before. Allegedly, Price got the better of him, so it's a good way to assess how good he's actually becoming.
I slightly disagree with Glenn, because I don't think there's any real rush for that fight yet, because you've got to remember Anthony Joshua's not been beyond 3 rounds before. He'll probably get some rounds in against Johnson, as you say. He's never been stopped for, but he throws so many punches. The worry with Joshua is, because he throws so many punches, getting people out of there, what happens when someone sticks around? We'll find out more against Johnson, but I'd rather see him have another 2 fights, maybe someone like Manuel Shah or Andre Rudenko, who's fighting Hughie Fury, that kind of level of opposition, then David Price.
I think the problem you've got is holding him back, because he is that good. And I know that, and I know that he can do the rounds as well. So that's going to be the problem. I think he's going to have the first couple of fights in 2015. Where do you hold him back to? I think Price is the obvious
and
step.
Especially if he does a job on Johnson, I mean, then you're starting to say, he's going places. You've got to push him on. He's an Olympic gold medalist as well, so I don't think you have to hold him back.
Price could be the hardest hitter in heavyweight boxing. He's
exactly.
up there with Deontay Wilder.
That's why we want to.
Guys, what a heavyweight division! Deontay Wilder against Deverne. Maybe David Haye coming back. Yeah. Klitschko looking better than ever. Fury beating Chisora. It's all there.
Yeah, David Price in the mix as well, and I mean. It's going to be a massive year for heavyweight boxing, and it's really going to push boxing up.
And it's a while since we said that about the heavyweights, isn't it? Because it's being controlled by the Klitschkos. There's only Vladimir fighting now, so it's going to get interesting. It's going to get good.
As well as the heavyweights, let's take a look at promoter Eddie Hearn's dream matchups for the new year. This is the list of the fights he wants to make, which can actually be made. Look at that last one. We're talking heavyweights. Fury against Joshua in there. Quigg and Frampton. Quigg's injured for a while. That may take a while. Groves to Gale. Is this the time to make it now? Frot Chavez, we think possibly at the end of March. Brooke Khan. Well, we wait.
Yeah, I think we all want to see it. The public want to see all those fights coming off. The more realistic ones, I think, is Frot and Chavez Jr., Groves and De Gale. Again, I think could happen. And Scott Quigg, Frampton, maybe later in the year.
Is it a dream list? It'd be Father Christmas if he pulls that.
I was going to say, is it a dream list or a wish list?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it'd be Father Christmas if they all come off. But I mean, they're good fights. We want to see that sort of fight. And also on domestic level, Tommy Coyle, Luke Campbell. There's some good fights all the way through all the levels.
We've got Smith Abraham. There's Murray and Golovkin in February. Also Frampton against Avalos. Fury's back. It's a busy start to the year.
There's so much. Tyson Fury's going to have a warm-up fight 28th of February, because he's guaranteed that fight with Vladimir Klitschko, which is intriguing. Vladimir's just become a father to a daughter. He's getting on a bit. He looks exciting against Kubrat Pulev, but how long can he go on? He
looked better than ever.
He looked the best I've seen him, didn't he? He looked really destructive.
Yeah, against an opponent a lot of people thought might win. In Pulev, he had the style people thought would give him a lot of problems, but he just brushed him aside, didn't he?
So much to look forward to. Busy time stateside too, with the likes of Bob Arum and even Don King still around the scene, whilst the emergence of powerful manager Al Heyman's really caught the eye. So too, Golden Boys chief Oscar De La Hoya, who's fighting back after his split with Richard Schaefer.
It's interesting because, people keep on talking about
Mayweather-Pacquiao. Well, they've been talking about Pacquiao-Mayweather for the last 5 years. When is it going to happen? Who knows if it's going to happen? I wish it would happen for the sake of boxing, for the sake of the fans. But it's interesting because a fight that's really brewing and gaining steam and that people are really talking about and they want to see is Canelo Cotto. Now that's a very, very good fight. Very entertaining fight if it does happen. But it started now to catch momentum and people want to see it and they're putting pressure. And so now I'm talking to Bob and hopefully we can make that happen very soon. So that's one fight that I believe can be made relatively sooner than later. But 2015 looks very bright, looks promising for boxing. We feel that 2015 the fan is going to be very, very happy.
And you can see more of that interview when we return on January the 15th of Ringside.
Fascinating it was. Cotto Alvarez, they're talking May the 2nd, what a fight.
Terrific fight. I mean, Cotto has just reinvented himself. He's come back better than ever. Alvarez disappointing when he fought Mayweather, but you know he's right up there. I think that's a really, really good matchup.
Yeah. Flip of a coin, isn't it? It's a flip of a coin, that one.
Can you believe how Cotto's come back? I mean, we've been talking about him for years. He's done so much. He seemed to be, at the end, revived under Freddie Roach.
If I'm honest, 18 months ago, we thought his best days were behind him. We thought the career was over, and he's totally revived and looking better than ever. Alvarez, you know, Alvarez is the same. He did look flat against Mayweather, but then everybody looks flat against Mayweather. Mayweather's got that style to cancel you out, make you look quite pedestrian, quite ordinary. So, you know, I think that the styles make fights, and that one is going to be a classic.
Ed, good seeing Oscar looking so well. Bob Arum still going. We saw Don King at ringside in Vegas. And then there's this Al Heyman, this mysterious figure. No one seems to know.
I've been in boxing for about 30 years. I still don't know what Al Heyman looks like.
But isn't he the most powerful man in boxing now?
He is, and everyone's waiting to see what his next move is because he's signed up all these fighters. And it's interesting because he's on one TV station. He works a bit with Golden Boy, but who are they signed with, some of these fighters? And we'll have to wait and see how that plays out.
Him signing up all these fighters, from, you know the ins and outs of the fight game, from your point of view, why do you think he's doing it? What do you think his game is?
There's rumours that he's looking to set up another channel, move boxing away from Showtime and HBO in America to another channel, and he'll have almost UFC-like control over it, almost a monopoly of boxing, and can do away with world titles to a certain extent, you know, get rid of the IBO, IBF, WBO, WBC, and just have his own championship. But we've just got to wait and see. I don't think that'll ever really happen because
it's quite strange, I think everyone for a man that shuns the limelight so much, isn't it? You know, there's
he's got his representatives, Sam Watson, you see at ringside. But I think what happens is everyone in boxing fights each other promotionally, but they would all band together to fight him if that kind of thing happened. Yeah. But we'd have to wait and see. Maybe that's what Top Rank and Bob Arum are thinking about with Golden Boy and De La Hoya.
Interesting times, how they all work together. These two really need to get together. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. The good news, finally, is that there's been plenty of recent movement in the matchup, which has merely been dreamt about for years.
We want to fight. We're ready. Let's make it happen May 2nd. Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. Let's do it.
Floyd, do you want this fight because your fans want it? Do you want it for your legacy? Do you want it for the money? What is the primary motivation that you want Manny Pacquiao?
A little bit of everything. A little bit of everything, because I know that he's not on my level. The fans would love to see the fight. And of course, I want to go out with a bang. So let's make this fight happen. Manny Pacquiao, Bob Arum, you guys have been ducking us for years. We tired of you guys fooling the public, fooling the critics. Before we tried to make the fight happen, you guys didn't want to take random blood in your intestine. So that's why the fight didn't happen. Then I offered you $40 million. Then you didn't want to make the fight happen. You lost twice. Now you're coming back begging for the same money. That's not going to happen. Let's make this fight happen for the people and for the fans. Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, May 2nd. Cinco de Mayweather.
Cinco de Mayweather.
We were out there when that happened. I thought, you know what, I don't want to fall in love with this idea because it gets you all excited.
It was funny, Steve Farhood, who did the interview there, was telling us at ringside he thinks it's closer than ever, and Dan Rayfield was saying nowhere near.
Well, they're both talking. Both fighters are talking about this fight finally. So, and I've always thought Mayweather. You know, it was almost made once, and then it went away. But I always thought Mayweather wants the fight. He wants the legacy. He cannot retire with Pacquiao without fighting Pacquiao, because people will always say, but he never fought Manny Pacquiao. So he will want that fight. So I think he's got 2 fights left in his TV deal. He's not going to be around for that much longer. So I think that fight will happen.
Spencer, do you believe it? Have you been suckered in?
I believed in it for years, if I'm honest, because I think we've all wanted it so much, and I think it's fight now. I think it's nearer now than it ever has been. Whether it's going to happen or not is still unsure. I wouldn't like to say, because we've been getting excited about it for years, not coming off. But it's a fight that must happen. It's a fight that needs to happen for both guys' legacies.
Mayweather made the statement, and Pacquiao's come back out as well. So both are now discussing this in the public eye.
They are, but if a fighter doesn't want a fight to happen, they can just make their own negotiations impossible to deal with behind the scenes. You just hope that the fight's going to happen. I think it's a similar situation to when Lewis fought Tyson. You've got the 2 rival TV stations.
Yes.
The difference is, I think when Lewis and Tyson fought, Tyson was way past his best. I think Pacquiao and Mayweather are both slightly past their best, but they're at the same kind of level of deterioration. You've got one who's 36 and Manny Pacquiao. Mayweather's 38 by the time the fight is possibly going to come around. So neither is what they were, but still it's intriguing because they've both faded a little bit.
Do you think Khan will get his chance against one of the pair next
He's going to get a shot sooner or later at somebody, but personally I'd like to see him fight Kell Brook, because I think that's such a massive fight for Britain. He'll get very well paid for it. It'll cause ripples throughout the world. America will take note.
And also, now that King Kong conquered Alexander the Great, which is my favourite line so far this season of Ed's, he's bang in the picture, isn't he? Yeah. He's in the picture, and people will want him because, you know, when you've got a Brit who can sell stadiums in the US, that's a great pulling power.
Final quick question for all three of you. In the crystal ball, Mayweather or Pacquiao, if it happens, who wins?
Mayweather.
Pacquiao.
Mayweather.
You didn't say me.
And you.
Mayweather.
Mayweather 3-1 there. Our thanks to Glenn, Spencer and Ed. Glenn and Spencer are ready for Christmas. Happy Christmas to you all. See you in January. Don't miss this special on boxing fan Rory McIlroy.
That's very un-McIlroy-like. I can scarcely believe what I'm seeing.
You just need to see him play 4 rounds. We can't just judge him on 1 round a week, which is really what we're seeing.
I need to up my game a little bit. I know that I want to try and get back to that top spot in the world. I'm happy with my game, and hopefully, you know, the golf will be the most talked about thing this year rather than anything else.
His first World Golf Championship, and it returns him to the pinnacle of the sport. Rory McIlroy on top of the world.
Sounds all right, doesn't it? Sounds fucking great. Yeah, it really does.
And Superman makes it major win number 4. It's glory for Rory in Kentucky.
I don't want to call it a resurrection in any way, but it's been a huge turnaround. It's been the best year of my career to date, and hopefully it's just a start.
2 majors, a Ryder Cup win. Hasn't it been brilliant for him? Roaring back, McIlroy's 2014 Christmas Day, 8:30, Sky Sports 4. And if you wanted a light pugilistic action over the festive break, look out for our greatest knockouts of the year. That's Monday, December the 29th, 11 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. We wish you, from all the Sky team, a very merry and fun Christmas.
Johnny, ho! Sit down, little boy! Stop it! Stop it now, son! No, it's not! I'm having Christmas! Sit down, son! Sit down, little boy!
Get rid of these. Get rid of this. Happy Christmas.
Come on, you little mugs. Let's go. Come on. Savage.
News and views, tactics and debate. We have loads to kick off the new season. Boxing's hot and Ringside's back.
I can't believe it! Why am I not doing this?
What
on, boys. Let the little phone in. You can expect super sexy Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury.
His beard is really doing me wonders.
Now it's called squeaky bum time. What was that?
Oh, this is. Right, listen, man. Let me try one of them. Yeah, it's gross. I forgot. What's the saying?
That can go on the outtakes at Christmas.
Evander, keep your mind on the Lord.
I'm one time for a reason, not a short season.
Top of the morning to you.
Oh, very good.
If them open, and that should. Thank you's go a long way, and that's what Brendan taught me.
Let's get off his back and start patting him on it.
But would you have beaten him?
Obviously.
Make him trick him, digs it out.
You might actually trick yourself. I think.
But I was losing 3 stone. Something you should look at doing, my friend.
Absolutely brilliant. Hey, this guy. Oh, yeah, sorry. This is live on Sky Sports News. Top man.
Right, that's done.
I must say this. You can't keep a good man down.
What a day it's been. You know, can I come back next week?
What do I say?
Enjoy Sky Sports Live. On all screens, on the go, and the best.